Okay, so now we have one and we have to copy them all around. So the best way to go is actually to your bottom of truss level. If you don't see it there, you just go up another step, let's say level 3. Now here's the thing about trusses and beams and columns, they're metal. You see them as a line when you're in coarse view, okay? So if you say fine, you're going to see all the detail there. Obviously when you place the drawing into the sheet, it should be under coarse, otherwise you will see lines, no? So this way we can select the truss. You just make sure that it says truss there. You say CO to copy, and you use the grids to copy exactly to each of the grid levels, no? Now if you're just doing like me, that you don't have the multiple, you say copy, you want to press a multiple here so you can copy multiple objects. And again, things are going extremely slow. Just because I'm recording at the same time, I think it should be much faster for you guys. Escape that, let's go to the 3D. There you go. Now if you deleted incorrectly the number of columns, this last truss corresponds with the bottom grid, and it should have one column and another column, only two, okay? We're going to do the same again. I'm going to do another truss. I'm going to snap to the top of the top left column of the atrium, and I'm going to snap to the ending column here. We're going to select it and make sure that the reference plane is actually bottom of truss, okay? We're going to go again to level 3 because that's where we could see very well our trusses. We're going to select it, CO, make sure that it's multiple, and we're going to use the grids to snap here. Now here's what it's saying, hey, there's one inside of another, so that grid line is not the grid line of our atrium building. So let's Control C that, select CO, multiple, and we avoid obviously placing in the EE grid line. And we're done. 3D, and it looks quite like that. The reason why we have these guys here is because there's going to be a different roof here than it is here, and we're going to have to deal with it later on, okay? Okay, last, the lab. The lab needs all these columns, but they don't need to go to the bottom of truss, so I'm going to select them, including the little middle piece, and I'm going to set the top level constraint to be level 2. Apply, it goes down, and here's the setting of the beams. We say beam, we make sure that we use the white flange, and here's a faster way to do this, is just selecting the grid. So I'm going to go to level 2, I'm going to do it again, beam, and say on grids. Okay, so we press these guys, we press Control to select these guys too. And here's the thing, because these grid lines go all the way to the end, we're going to be placing beams over here. So let's say finish and see what happens, and see how we can fix it right after. Let's go to 3D. You see how they're going all the way there? That's because the grid is going all the way. So you can fix this very easily by positioning yourself carefully in the 3D and selecting that area and delete. You also have to delete these guys and this. Oops. By the way, if you delete something that is not meant to be deleted, like I did now, it's gonna most of the time it's gonna tell you a warning like you're detaching a connection or a join between parts. So Control C that and delete here. Okay. So we need also a beam here, which I forgot to say. So I'm just going to do it more individually. Just place in here, snapping, snapping, snapping. You could have selected the grid, obviously, with no problem. So, okay. In theory, there should be another one here, so you can always. It's a little tricky, but you can select these ones, right click, hide elements, and you can start doing a couple beams here, snapping to the endpoints there if it does. There, 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 here. Okay, reset or rebuild. Right click and hide elements. Okay, so that's good. Let's go back. Now, this is the selection of the grids. We do the same if we go to level 2 structural. And if you don't have it, remember how you do that. It's as simple as going to view and you say plan view structural and you select level 2 here if you don't have it, okay? If you go to level 2 in the structural plans, and you should rename it carefully. Again, we have the green lines because it's another view, so it's just going to select it. Right click, hide category so it doesn't bother me. And what I'm going to do is tag all these columns again. So I'm going to say under annotation, say tag all, and then you say structural framings, okay, and there you have it. Okay. Now if you have two sets like I do have, it's because it's telling you the tagging of the concrete beam underneath and the tagging of the metal beam. So this is a problem of the range view. Okay, so we're going to say view range, and we're going to set this actually to be level, associate level, associate level, associate level, and if I remember well, this is like 1. It's going to be 4, and it's going to be 0. Let me see if it works. Top clip plane is set below the cut plane. Top clip set below. So this is going to be 4. View range. And there you have it. Now remember that if you have these lines in black, it's just that you need to set it to fine, and everything is nicely done right there. Okay. Good. You create the sheets as 1 or 2. This is more optional, but I do recommend that you create them. This is the tagging process, and this is again a list of different beams that you should use depending on the case. So basically, not all of these beams, and I'm going to go to 3D, should be the same. So we have another chart to change these beams. Okay, so it depends on this on the span. So we're going to do DI, and I'm going to do again a couple of examples. For a 2410 or a 10, It's actually the minimum, which is 1461 if it's on the edge or if it's interior. So this 10 I selected, and I have to edit type. Now you're going to want to change that. The best thing that you should do is actually load different beams. You have all of them and you don't have to actually create them at all. So you just go to structure, you go to framing, you go to steel, and the last one is white flange. So you say okay. Now it's going to tell you all the different options. So the numbers here, if you scroll down, this 29, 20, 16, 67 is actually this number, okay? So for example, 1438, you will go to 1438, you say okay, and it would load the 1348, which goes here on the 24 span and interior, okay? There is 1438, you say okay, and you can change it, and it changes the frame. So again, depending on the span, and I'm going to do another example now. 2410 is a little bit higher than 24, and if it's interior, I'm going to use a 1461. Okay, so that means that this guy, no, sorry, this is interior. We're going to say edit type. We need to load framing, steel, wide range, and again we select 1461. So we scroll down, here it is. Okay, takes a little while. You select it, 1461, you say okay, and it changes accordingly. So that would be all of this. So you can select, fortunately you have to select all the framing one by one, pressing control, and then just change them in here. 1438 I think it was, no? 61, sorry. And they changed, no? Okay, I'm gonna